There was a power outage during evening study. Charlie suddenly kissed me and put his hands around my waist into my clothes. I felt hot with shame, yet secretly sweet, thinking that my hopeless first love had finally blossomed and borne fruit. Until I heard Charlie's brother joking at his house. "Have you tried the product? Is the student committee member's plan too big?" Charlie smiled meaningfully. "That's too much. It's okay to have fun, but when it comes to relationships, I'd rather find someone as pure as the school bell." I didn't say anything, turned around and left, and silently applied for a direct admission spot to the provincial team competition. Charlie's words were like a bucket of ice water poured over my head on a spring day. My pounding heart suddenly cooled down, leaving me embarrassed and at a loss. At Charlie's house, his brothers burst into laughter. "Sure, the student council member looks promising. I heard Charlie will be able to take him down tonight. After eating, you must share the taste with your brothers. The student council member's figure is really worth recording and savoring." Charlie laughed and scolded. "Go away. Are you treating me like a movie?" Not knowing what they had discovered, they whistled again. "Wow, Charlie, is this something you gave to the student council? These black stockings, suspenders, and lace are no different from wearing nothing at all. Charlie wouldn't let the student council member wear this, would he? It's so cool." Charlie snatched the phone back and said nonchalantly. "I saw it by accident. It suits her and she seems to like it." Someone joked with him. "The school council member has been pursuing Charlie for so long, and he is so attractive, he must be eager to show it off more. I just wonder if Charlie will find the school beauty bland after having a strong taste." Charlie's voice suddenly became more serious. "How can they be the same? Keep it to yourself. Amy is fine, but don't scare Emma. The school beauty is Emma. And I am Amy." I covered my lips and tears of shame and embarrassment fell uncontrollably. He was shaking all over and only managed to hold on to the wall to avoid falling. The long coat I was wearing covered my entire body. Under the coat, there is a pink ribbon choker, a black lace bra, suspender fishnet black stockings, and a bunny tail sticking out of the mini skirt. Almost a vacuum. It's the same set that Charlie gave me. From the very beginning, Charlie was the one who kept crossing the line. During class, he secretly hooked my hand under the table and intertwined our fingers. I can't get rid of it. During lunch break, I lay on the table to rest. He came back from playing ball, leaned against the wall with one hand, and held me in his arms. The wild hormones are overwhelming. I blushed and didn't know what to do. He scooped up the water I had placed on the table and raised his head. Crystal clear drops of water slid down my Adam's apple, dripped onto my collarbone, and burned into my heart. He licked the water stains on his lips and smiled in a naughty way. "The student council member smells so good and the water is sweet." At the sports meeting, the boys on both sides whistled and laughed at me while I was running, which was extremely embarrassing. Finally, he fell down in panic. It was Charlie who carried me to the infirmary. After his 18th birthday ceremony, Charlie couldn't wait, becoming more and more bold in crossing the line with me. When the power went out during evening study, he pressed me into his arms, touched my skin, and plundered me at will. I dodged in shame, but he squeezed and kissed me more aggressively. A magnetic and hoarse voice exploded in my heart. "Student council member wants you." Everything seemed to be a natural progression. He gave me a small gift that only lovers would give to each other. I put it on shamefully and sweetly, and went to the appointment happily. I thought that we were finally in love and secretly looked forward to the first blossoming of youth. But Charlie's words shattered all my expectations and dignity word by word. It turns out that my true feelings were just a topic of ridicule for them. The body that they are willing to show because of love is regarded as burning and slutty in their mouths. I foolishly thought that Charlie finally fell in love with me, but the person he mentioned as his love interest was always Emma. I am a heavy taste who can be played with casually, but she is a treasure that cannot be scared. It turns out that whether you love it or not, you can have fun. When Charlie's brothers returned, I hid in the stairwell. Cover your lips tightly and hold back your tears. Tears welled up in my eyes. The phone vibrated and then stopped. Charlie couldn't get through on the phone, so he sent me a few more pictures. Charlie, ultrathin 0.01. Charlie, thread super sense. Charlie, not coming yet? Charlie, which one do you like? Charlie, adults want all of them? I didn't reply, so he sent. Charlie, the little Wildcat wants real guns and swords? Charlie, you should have medicine. Charlie, butterfly clips, body chains, foxtail plugs.jpg. Charlie, not well prepared, what does the little Wildcat like? Swipe my card. I held the phone tightly, feeling a surge of shame and embarrassment. Endless bitterness spread in my heart and gradually turned cold. I bit my lip, but the tears wouldn't stop flowing. He wrapped his coat tightly and turned away. My eyes were swollen from crying and I took the whole morning off. In the afternoon, I entered the classroom only after the teacher started the lecture. Charlie stared at me, veins bulging on his forehead. He was angry that I broke my promise yesterday, so he put his arms around my waist from behind and pinched me warningly. I pushed his hand away with force, and he angrily pushed his elbow hard on my desk. My notebook was crumpled and my stationery was swept to the floor. I said nothing and moved away from his hand. Bend down and pick up the stationery. He touched his cheek with the tip of his tongue and looked at me with a sinister look. Halfway through the class, there was a sudden commotion in the playground downstairs. Someone fainted. The students looked down to see the excitement. The moment I saw clearly that the person who fainted was Emma. Charlie suddenly tensed up, pursed his lips and pushed me away. Get out of the way. Regardless of the fact that I was still in class on the second floor, he stepped on my chair and jumped out of the window. After climbing onto the tree trunk outside the window, he ran towards the playground. He domineeringly pushed away the male classmates who were trying to help him. Wenru carried Emma to the shade of the tree. When I and other classmates rushed to the playground, we saw Charlie leaning over and kissing Emma. He put away his usual cynicism and moved with caution and restraint. Like protecting a fragile treasure. Even though it was just artificial respiration, the girls covered their faces and screamed. Charlie blushed too. Emma whimpered and finally woke up. Charlie? The sound is soft and sticky. Charlie gently stroked her hair, his eyes full of love and affection. Yes, I'm here. He took off his school uniform jacket, put it on Emma, and picked her up like a princess. The summer breeze brings up a youthful ambiguity. The prince who saves the princess is cherishing and solemn. The screams all around were almost overwhelming. I stood there, staring at the scene in a daze. Emma saw me, bit her lip, shrank into Charlie's arms shyly and fearfully, and pushed him away softly. Charlie, don't do this, your girlfriend is still here, this is not good. Charlie turned his head to look at me, the tenderness in his eyes disappeared, and he became sharp and cold. Girlfriend? Is she worthy? I opened my mouth, but no sound came out. Charlie raised his hands and covered Emma's ears. Amy, don't think that just because I touched you a few times, you have the right to control me. If you dare to make things difficult for Emma, I will never forgive you. Emma leaned in his arms, a hint of satisfaction flashed in her innocent eyes, and she gently raised the corners of her lips towards me. My heart felt as if it was torn apart and the pain was excruciating. Why? He obviously likes Emma, why does he touch me? Why do you treat me as a tool to vent your sexual desires and humiliate me in front of everyone? Slander me for burning, speculate that I took medicine, and play with me at will. My body, my feelings, my self-esteem. Even the affection that has lasted for so many years. It turns out that in his eyes, everything is nothing. I was extremely embarrassed and ashamed. Tears flowed uncontrollably. He lowered his head, clenched the corner of his clothes, and turned away in embarrassment. In the evening, the campus network exploded. Charlie is so handsome. He is indeed the school bully. Who wouldn't fall for him? Eyes screenshot. The look in the school bully's eyes couldn't be more genuine. When will I be able to be looked at by such loving eyes? Speaking of the school bully's childhood sweetheart, it really makes me laugh to death. It's bad enough that he keeps pestering me, but he also has to make himself embarrassed in public. From what the school bully said, he has already played with Kaifeng several times. Amy? She is just a big-breasted, brainless face, a flirtatious piece of shit. She must have been played with a lot. I heard that she even let the school bully give her clothes to wear. U1S1, Amy's style, only greasy old men like it, right? What white, rich and beautiful, maybe she has been kept by someone for a long time, and has a lot of sugar daddies behind her back. Seeing her pestering Charlie every day is annoying. The school beauty and the school bully are a perfect match, okay? If this were a romance novel, she would be a vicious female supporting role. Yes, but this is a kiss that seals love, it's not easy to win the school beauty. Charlie, on the floor where everyone was talking about Emma, only gave a brief reply. Charlie, don't talk nonsense. It's not nice to girls. I stared blankly. My already numb heart was aching. I tilted my head back and took a deep breath to stop the tears from falling. It turns out that waking up from a dream is really painful. The phone vibrates. Kevin, Sr., are you okay? Kevin, have you checked the campus network? If not, don't check it. Kevin, those people on the internet don't understand me at all, they are so malicious. Kevin is a junior from the same school who is on the same competition team as me. During the summer vacation, we trained, competed, and won awards together, and the team members had a good relationship. I paused as I was about to reply, and typed a few words instead. Amy, our provincial team won the gold medal in the competition. Does it give us a place in the admission list? Kevin, the team leader, said before that it was a pity for the senior to give up such a good opportunity, so the senior just needs to think it through. I also want to apply, and I will send a copy of the application form to my senior sister. Kevin sent it almost instantly. Kevin, compress the file. Amy, you are only a sophomore in high school. Isn't it too early to apply for admission by recommendation? Kevin typed for a long time but didn't send it. I simply gave up thinking about it and just replied, thank you, can you keep the admission a secret for me? Our team won the gold medal in the competition and was admitted to some of the best universities in the country. Originally, I gave up the admission quota. Because I want to go to the same university as Charlie. My mom and Charlie's mom are close friends. Charlie and I were also each other's first love. We played together since we were young and were in the same class from elementary school to high school. But after Charlie's parents divorced, Charlie's grades plummeted. He lost interest in studying and became lazy and cynical. I hung out with people who didn't look like students, and learned to smoke, drink, fight, and become unruly and debauched. Became a veritable school bully. But even so, in the eyes of many girls, he is the eldest son of the Charlie family, and women only love bad men. I don't want to watch him continue to fall. I tried to get close to him, understand him, and lead him back to the right path. Using the title of deskmate and student committee member, I gave him extra lessons. I acted like a childhood sweetheart, drove away his gangster friends, and forced him to go home with me. I controlled him and chased him, thinking I could redeem him. Behind their backs, they all said, Amy is obviously not Charlie's girlfriend, but she always pesters him. Amy is just a self-absorbed bitch and Charlie's bootlicker. Amy has big breasts and no brains, she only knows how to seduce people with her body, but Charlie still doesn't like her. I can pretend not to care about all this. Until I heard Charlie say the same thing. All the hard work and persistence seemed like a joke. How excited I was when Charlie came close to me and kissed me. How heartbreaking it is to hear those words. I still hopelessly remember that deep kiss in the darkness that was so sticky and wet that it made me feel like a string. The heat of passion swallows my breath and seems to last forever. That was my first kiss. It was also the first time that someone touched my body. You can see cloth on the ground that cannot be called clothes. Think of everything that happened during the day. Intense humiliation and shame came over me again. Tears rolled down my cheeks and I slapped myself hard. Amy, it's time to wake up. No more dreaming and no more thinking about him. I threw these things into the trash can with force. It's like throwing away the humiliated self. I soaked in the water and scrubbed every inch of my skin vigorously. She wanted to completely erase all the feelings he had ever had on her body. I had a sleepless night and felt feverish in the morning. I had to take another half day off. I went to school groggily in the afternoon and submitted my application for admission. As soon as I walked out of the teacher's office, my wrist was grabbed and I was suddenly dragged into an enclosed space. Charlie's handsome eyebrows enlarged in front of him, his eyebrows were bold and wild, and there was a faint smell of tobacco on his body. He didn't smile, but grabbed my hand very hard and asked aggressively. Amy, what do you mean? Take Joe from me? You don't answer my calls or reply to my WeChat messages, so you have to make trouble with me? Where did you go that day? Why didn't you wear the clothes I gave you, huh? He narrowed his eyes and spoke in a clear tone with a hint of threat. When I saw my surroundings clearly, I suddenly became sober. It turned out to be a cubicle in the men's restroom. I was shaking with anger and nausea. My vision went white and I was completely speechless. Charlie paused, then suddenly put his forehead against mine, raising his eyebrows in surprise. So hot. Are you really sick? He loosened his grip and smiled. Never mind. I'll forgive you this time. I hunched over, trying to resist the urge to retch. You didn't even tell me you were sick? You can't just ignore my message. You broke your promise and you're trying to avoid me? Charlie scolded me for ignoring him these past few days. Seeing that I didn't answer, he suddenly put his hand into my clothes, smiled evilly, and said, Let me check whether the student council members have completed the homework I assigned. I was completely powerless to resist, so he forced me into his arms and touched me all over. He was very strong, his movements were domineering, and his breath was hot. The big hands roamed freely on my skin, grabbing and kneading it frivolously and forcefully. I hugged my chest and pushed him as hard as I could. You just said those words yesterday, but you still want to use me to vent your sexual desires today? How long does he want to humiliate me? I felt so humiliated and desperate that I couldn't help but cry. Try your best, sob and resist. Don't want. Seeing that I was crying, Charlie stopped. After a moment's silence, he hugged me tighter, his voice frivolous and sarcastic. What's wrong, little Wildcat, are you still angry? It seemed like he was trying to coax me gently, but the words he said were heartbreaking. Are you jealous because of what happened yesterday and the random things they posted online? Amy, we are all adults now. It's something that is consensual between us, and it doesn't mean anything. I thought you understood that. Just because of these things, you want to restrict me. Isn't that too heavy? Besides, it was all for the sake of saving people. It would be meaningless if you were so stingy. Human life is at stake, and you are such an adult and you still don't know the difference between the important and the minor. No wonder they all say you are too fierce, like a vicious female supporting role. It turned out that he saw everything and knew everything. He clearly knew how cruel those comments were to a girl. That's why when mentioning Emma, I can't wait to leave a message to protect her. But he said that to me in public. He never explained it to me, even a word. Just because he gave all his pity and cherishment to the other girl in his heart. And I am just a tool for him to vent his desires. Not worthy of anything. Nothing, tears burst out. I tried my best and slapped him on the face. Looking into his eyes, I said seriously, word by word. Charlie, I don't care about you anymore. The playfulness on Charlie's face collapsed bit by bit, and the strength in his hands suddenly increased. He pinched my chin, his dark eyes faintly reddened, and he looked at me cruelly and helplessly. Amy, can you say that again? I glared back at him, unwilling to be outdone. Blurred vision, choked but determined to Charlie, I said I would never again. Ugh. Before I could finish my sentence, Charlie blocked my lips. He kissed me quickly and fiercely, holding me tightly in his arms. I was kissed so hard that I couldn't breathe and pounded him hard. My vision went dark and I felt nauseous. There was absolutely none of the throbbing and passion of that first kiss in the dark. All that is left is humiliation and powerlessness. Charlie's fingers rubbed heavily across my swollen lips. Amy, I will pretend I didn't hear what you just said. Don't be jealous, I'm here to see you. Be good and don't make trouble. He grabbed my waist and pressed my upper body against him. In this dirty and narrow men's toilet cubicle, he looked at me with burning eyes and smiled lazily. Don't forget, you still owe me one. I just find it ridiculous. It seemed as if all the tears had been shed. My heart feels desolate. What does he take me for? My head feels dizzy and my heart aches. My blood was boiling, my vision went dark, and I knew nothing. When I opened my eyes again, I was already in a hospital ward. My mother helped me to set up the hospital bed and said worriedly. How do you feel? Are you still feeling uncomfortable? Kid, even though senior year of high school is important, you can't put so much pressure on yourself. You were participating in competitions outside during the holidays and didn't get a good rest. Even though results are important, Mom just wants you to be healthy and happy. My nose felt sore and my heart felt warm. I replied in a muffled voice. I didn't tell my mother that winning the competition would guarantee admission. Before, I wanted to go to college with Charlie, or at least get into the same college. Charlie and I have been having an ambiguous relationship for so long, and both sets of parents have seen it and are happy to see it. It's already assumed that we will be a couple sooner or later. Now, I don't want to bother with Charlie anymore. But I didn't have the energy to explain to my parents or to argue with Charlie. Let's just wait until we separate naturally and then talk about it. My mother peeled a lychee for me and said with a smile. Someone came to see you just now and gave you a big box of lychees. Isn't that your favorite? I have been with you for a long time. I just went out and will be back soon. You should thank me well. My heart suffocated and I felt depressed. Not many people know that I love eating lychees, besides my parents and Charlie. I clutched the quilt tightly, feeling mixed emotions. The door of the ward was soon knocked, and a clear and pleasant male voice came. Auntie, is Senior feeling better? My eyes widened and I turned away. The boy who came in was wearing a clean white shirt, with long and bony fingers, and was slowly rolling down his sleeves. His voice was gentle and low, his smile was quiet and shy. It's Kevin. I clearly don't want to see Charlie. But the moment I saw that it wasn't Charlie, I still felt an uncontrollable pain and sourness in my heart. I secretly cursed myself for being a cheapskate. But the feelings accumulated over so many years cannot be removed from the heart in an instant. You can only quit slowly. Seeing this, the mother stood up and left to you guys chat. I'll go buy some food. Kevin declined, but was still invited to have dinner with them. In the ward for 2 people, I looked up and thanked him with a smile. Junior, thank you. Kevin sat on the bed and was silent for a moment before saying, if you don't want to laugh, you don't have to. Senior sister, you don't need to pretend in front of me. I felt a little awkward for some reason. Grab your phone. Kevin held my hand. Senior, don't look. But after touching my hand, he quickly pulled it back. The earlobes are slightly red. I don't mean anything else, it's just. When I opened WeChat, countless messages popped up immediately. Many classmates and friends who care about me sent me messages. I responded one by one until I saw a message from one of Charlie's gangster brothers. Night Wolf, how much per time? Make an offer. I replied with a question mark in disbelief. The other party's messages came one after another. Night Wolf, are you still pretending to be pure even after all this? Night Wolf, campus network screenshot. Night Wolf, the idiot who was teased until he fainted in the men's bathroom still wants to take advantage of Joe? Night Wolf, now the whole school knows about it, and it's considered a brand. Name your price. Night Wolf, what? Charlie can play, but I can't? I clicked on the screenshot with trembling hands. Inside was a post on the campus network with the title, Shock. The sexy goddess of class 2, grade 3, was naked and wet, and fainted in the men's toilet cubicle on the 2nd floor. The post described in detail how I was taken out of the men's restroom and sent to the infirmary. The accompanying picture is a secretly taken photo. In the photo, I had fainted from the fever, with my wet eyes closed, my face flushed, and my lips swollen. The hot sweat soaked the thin summer school uniform, which stuck to the body, outlining the plump curves and revealing a faint pink color underneath. To make matters worse, Charlie had torn my uniform into pieces. Her clothes were disheveled, revealing large areas of skin on her chest and waist. The exquisite and profound curves are clearly visible, which makes people imagine. It was clearly just a fainting due to fever, but it was misinterpreted into such a terrible thing. After I clicked on the original post, the obscene words on the screen hurt my eyes. Adolescent students are most interested in such topics. Charlie just said those words yesterday. This is what happened today. It was like a hammer that nailed me to the pillar of shame. Everyone was talking excitedly. Thanks to Goddess Amy, I have charged, it feels so good mail sign. Asshole. This delay is too interesting. Is there an encore? From now on, I will live in the men's bathroom on the 2nd floor, okay? What did I miss? Why didn't I go to the men's restroom on the 2nd floor to pick it up? Maybe I could have some fun with it. We are all classmates, you are so disgusting. She had already asked for sick leave, she just felt unwell. Some female classmates also stood up and defended me indignantly. But more of them are the most harsh humiliation for girls. This must be a real fever, otherwise why would he faint in the men's restroom? Maybe he just got confused and took the wrong way? 666, do you believe that she has taken a wrong path, or do you believe that I am Qin Shi Huang? Meet your majesty. Meet your majesty. I pay my respects to your majesty. So, brothers who have had a great time, please share your experience. How many of you have had it? How was it? It's so funny. You have to ask Charlie about this. I heard that it was Charlie who rescued him. I don't know how many times this has happened. Our Charlie is the hero who saves the beauty again, maybe the sexy goddess is not happy. Emma ran, stop talking, Amy is just not feeling well, it's too much to say that about a girl. Even if she did something, it's her freedom. Little Sheep is Emma's account. After this sentence, Charlie quickly followed up. Charlie, don't talk nonsense, she has a fever, I'm just taking care of her. No one believed this frivolous explanation. Can a fever spread to the men's room? I think it's a fever, right? I wonder how many heroes had taken care of her before Charlie came. Wasn't Amy always pestering Charlie? So she tried to seduce Charlie in the men's room again and was rejected? Or was she picked up by someone else? Charlie, come out and speak up, but apart from that one sentence, Charlie never appeared again. Tears fell drop by drop on the phone screen. My heart aches as if it were being cut into pieces. It was Charlie who forcefully dragged me into the men's restroom cubicle, touched me all over, and humiliated me wantonly. But he just brushed it all off. Let all those filthy and obscene humiliations be poured upon me. Drown me completely. Kevin took out a tissue and hurriedly wiped my tears. Senior, those are just rumors spread by people who don't know you. I have contacted the school administrator to delete the post. Don't listen to their nonsense. I raised my head, smiled bitterly and asked him. How do you know that they are the ones spreading rumors? Impossible. I know that my senior is definitely not that kind of person. Kevin looked at me with heartache in his eyes and said without hesitation. In that situation, it was definitely not the senior's own will. My heart felt warm and tears of grievance kept falling. Otherwise you wouldn't even look at me. He said something in a very low voice and I couldn't hear it clearly. What? Nothing. Kevin lowered his head and scrolled through his phone. Senior's sister, the post has been deleted. After a moment of silence, Kevin asked me cautiously, a senior, maybe, can you let Charlie explain it? I shook my head bitterly. How could he possibly explain such an embarrassing situation? Once he said it, he would have to admit in front of his beloved Emma that he had pulled another woman into the men's restroom. Everyone understands the ambiguous and naked primitive impulse behind this. Kevin nodded. So, can I explain? I looked at him blankly. Kevin laughed. I just explained that the senior was sick and would not make things difficult for her. I hesitated and nodded. Kevin left before my mom came back. Seeing me crying, my mother hugged me and comforted me for a long time. When asked what happened, I just shook my head. I don't want my mother to see those unbearable things. After dinner, I picked up my phone again and found that all the posts on the campus website had been deleted. In the class group, perhaps because I was still in the group, there were no overly excessive remarks. Instead, they chatted about other gossip. Someone took a screenshot of Emma's moments and posted it in the group. Sports committee, what's going on? Is this the official announcement of the school beauty? Emma ran, is this what it means to love someone? He is a fierce and bad wolf in front of others, but in front of you, he is just a stupid little dog trying hard to please you. The accompanying picture is a little rabbit doll that is sewn crookedly. It's clumsy and crude, but it was made by me when I was a kid and given to Charlie. I stared at the photo in a daze. My tears have dried up and my heart is completely dead. When I was a kid, my parents were often away on business, so I would go to Charlie's house for dinner and to do homework. I miss my parents so much, but I don't want to make Charlie's mom worry. I always hide in the bathroom and wipe my tears secretly. Charlie found out and kept looking for me to play with him, so I had no time to feel lonely and sad. We made a pair of little dolls together. A little rabbit and a little dog. I didn't know how to do it, so Charlie patiently taught me step by step. In order to practice, his little hands were covered with wounds from being pricked by needles. But he kept breathing on the small cut on my hand and comforting me with concern. When Charlie gave me the puppy, he said, Amy, when you are alone, the puppy will accompany you for me, and your little rabbit will accompany me for you. The puppy and the bunny will always be together, and we want them to be this good for the rest of our lives. But now, the puppy representing him is still placed at the head of my bed. The little rabbit that represented me was given to another girl by him. I opened Charlie's WeChat. Delete and blacklist. From contacts. And from my life. If you are in a bad mood, your illness will heal slowly. I was packing my things and sorting out my mood at home. Categorize the things Charlie once gave me one by one. When I was obsessed with the original soundtrack, he queued for a day to buy the limited edition vinyl record. Under the northern lights of Lapland, he suddenly hugged me from behind and took a Polaroid photo. He spent 2 days shopping at the antique market in Florence and brought back a Renaissance ruby rose ring. There are many more. Finally, there is the puppy doll that he made himself to represent him. They were all packed into a big box and never saw the light of day. Charlie came to see me a few times. I didn't open the door and pretended I wasn't home. One night, the class committee sent me a message asking me, Class committee member, what's going on between you and Charlie? Class committee member, Charlie has been acting crazy lately, can you keep him in check? Amy? Class committee, when will you come to school? Before I could reply, the class committee member suddenly called me. After picking up the phone, it was Charlie's voice that came from the other end. Amy, how long are you going to make such a fuss? Block me? You're doing this just to get my attention, right? If you have the guts, then never show up in front of me again. Who wants to go to the same university with you? If it weren't for you being unable to leave me, do you think I really want to? Charlie's words are sharp and full of sarcasm. I was silent for a moment, then replied softly, okay, I got it. But Charlie seemed even angrier. What do you mean? Are you not done yet? Who was the one who cried like that last time? I'm here to give you a way out, don't make yourself miserable. I said calmly, Charlie, I said I don't care about you anymore. Charlie smiled, okay. Amy, you are so cruel. You said it yourself. Don't regret it. There was a loud bang on the other end of the line and the phone fell to the ground. The only good news during my sick leave was that my admission quota was approved. The college entrance examination will be much easier than for other students. But I submitted my application to transfer to the key class without hesitation. My grades were good enough to be placed in a key class. I stayed in the regular class because I wanted to study with Charlie. Now, I don't want to anymore. I just want to stay away from him, the farther the better. Charlie never came to see me or contacted me again. Corresponding to this is his high-profile romance with Emma. Even though I have blocked him, screenshots of his and Emma's moments will still be shared with me by various classmates and friends. Originally, his profile picture was completely black. The circle of friends is blank, so cool that it can only be seen for 3 days. Keep people at a distance. Now, it has been replaced by a soft and cute cartoon puppy. It's a couple's profile picture with Emma. The two of them also check in on their circle of friends every day. Record the small details of various youth first love. Handmade love lunch, listening to music with the same headphones, writing each other's names in notebooks, feeding stray kittens in the corner of the school together, and showing couple bracelets when holding hands under the shade of trees. Seeing this, my hand holding the phone couldn't help but tighten. It turns out that Charlie doesn't disrespect girls, he just doesn't respect me. It's not that he doesn't know how to date a girl seriously, he's just being casual with me. Try to suppress your surging emotions. I told myself, Amy, stop being sad for people who don't deserve it. Stop being a bitch. Being placed in a key class in the 3rd year of high school is likely to cause dissatisfaction among classmates. On the first day of the transfer, the head teacher introduced me specifically. Amy is a member of the provincial competition team and won the national gold medal last year on behalf of our province. Because of her personal schedule, she was not assigned to the key class before, but she is very capable. Dear students, please do not underestimate her. If you have any questions, please feel free to ask her. There were no poor students in the key class, and their eyes immediately turned admiring when they looked at me. Kevin has just jumped to our class, and there is an empty seat next to him. You are also teammates in the competition team, so let's improve together. My eyes widened. Kevin sat in the last row. He had handsome features and smiled warmly at me. Senior, let's work hard together. It felt weird that my junior suddenly became my classmate. We are all in the 3rd year of high school, so you don't have to call me senior anymore. Kevin looked at me seriously, his eyes sparkling. The sunshine shines on him, just like a young boy. Okay, my heartbeat suddenly started to skip a beat. I turned my head away in embarrassment. Amy, the most important thing now is to study. Everything else doesn't matter. Surprisingly, no one at school pointed fingers at me. Seems like I have forgotten about that post. I opened the campus network. Soon I saw a follow-up post. The poster directly revealed his identity. I am Kevin from Class 1, Grade 2, and I am a teammate of Amy in the competition team. When my senior was on sick leave, she came to school to deliver documents to me. The class was still going on. The senior student went to the wrong bathroom due to feeling unwell and fainted alone in the cubicle. Her condition was critical. After class, he was found by classmates and sent to the hospital. Please do not maliciously slander or spread rumors to ruin your classmates' reputation. In serious cases, the victim has the right to pursue legal responsibility. I also posted my diagnosis report for that day. Privacy is blurred, leaving only the condition. The style of the comments below suddenly changed. My classmates who knew me well stood up to defend me. Only Charlie said something very aggressively. Charlie, Kevin, what are you? The study workload in the 3rd year of high school is very heavy. Even though Kevin and I had already secured admission. But there was no slacking off. I wanted to completely forget about Charlie through the hard work of studying. Kevin skipped a grade, so he needed to lay a more solid foundation. After we started studying, we shared our notes and experiences, explained our weak subjects to each other, and competed together to solve difficult problems. The time passed was fulfilling and tense. During the evening study session after the exam, the seats on the side were pulled apart. I handed over the cut fruit. Kevin, my mom asked me to bring more and eat with you. Amy, have you had enough of the trouble? I looked up suddenly. Charlie is sitting next to me. He half leaned sideways and pressed my whole body against the corner of the wall. Just to be angry, you changed classes without saying anything, and even found a pretty boy to piss me off? Who allowed you to do this? Amy, I'm telling you, if you still want to go to college with me, break up with this pretty boy now. You could hear a pin drop in the classroom. Everyone pricked up their ears and ate the melon. I laughed angrily and looked up. Please move aside, this is Kevin's seat. Charlie narrowed his eyes at me. No, This is my place. I pushed him angrily, but he grabbed my wrist and pulled me into his arms. He is strong and domineering. The humiliation of being manipulated at will came back again. It makes me desperate and heartbroken. Knock knock. There were sudden knocks on the table in front of Charlie. Classmate, this is my seat. Kevin stood tall and straight, tilting his head and looking at him in confusion. You don't seem to be from our class, right? This is a key class. Kevin deliberately emphasized the last 3 words. Charlie was immediately enraged, and stood up and grabbed Kevin by the collar. What do you mean? Say it again? Kevin pointed to the clock behind him. The teacher is coming. Charlie cursed a few words with an ugly look on his face, then left. Kevin showed concern for me as soon as he sat down. Are you okay? Did he do anything to you? I feel so guilty. I'm sorry, I apologize to you on his behalf. Could you please not apologize for him? Kevin was silent for a moment, then added pitifully. I will be sad. I was stunned, and my face suddenly felt a little hot. I went to the bathroom and splashed cold water on my face. Eliminate unnecessary heat. But as soon as I came out, I was pushed into a dark, empty classroom. Charlie pushed me against the door and asked angrily. Amy, you did it. What do you want me to do in order for you to leave that pretty boy? I was trapped in his arms, trembling and hugging my body. But I still mustered up the courage to refute. You already have Emma, why do you still care about me? Charlie chuckled in relief. So, is it because you are jealous that you won't even let me touch you? I told you, you are different. I was furious. I didn't. I just don't want to care about you anymore, don't want to be entangled with you anymore, and don't want to see you anymore. Have you ever listened to me even once? I was the one who shamelessly pestered you before. If you had told me that you liked someone else, I would never have done that. But you kept me hanging, treating me as a woman you could play with at will, and you never showed me any respect. As the most embarrassing scar was peeled off again, I tried hard to endure the soreness in my nasal cavity. You obviously don't like me, but you keep lying to me and want to play with my body. Are you worthy of our parents and the friendship we have had since childhood? You are simply a beast. Charlie looked unhappy. It sounds so harsh, but wasn't it all your own will? I gave you those clothes to wear, and you obviously weren't angry. When I kissed you on the day of the power outage, you were very proactive. Wasn't it consensual between adults? I smiled bitterly. I was a cheapskate. I liked you and thought you liked me too, so that's why I did this to me. But this is not a reason for you to humiliate me and spread rumors about me behind my back, and even refuse to explain anything for me. It is certainly not a reason for you to give that doll to her easily. Charlie, ask yourself, would you do this to Emma? You just want to have fun with my body while you're in love with Emma. Charlie's mind was touched and his whole body stiffened. You're talking nonsense. I didn't. After a moment, he said with difficulty. Amy, it's not worth it to break up our relationship of so many years just because of something like this. If you insist on doing this, I will break up with Emma, for you. I think it's ridiculous. Push him away with force. He still doesn't understand. The one who destroyed our relationship of so many years was not Emma, but himself. You can refill the tea when it's cold, but when your heart is cold, even the residual warmth is a luxury. No need, Charlie. I don't want to see you again, and you don't want to come near me again. I felt terrified and sick. Ignoring Charlie's sudden stumble, I turned and left. Charlie and Emma broke up. A gossip post appeared on the campus network. Innuendo, I have been pestering Charlie, interfering in his relationship with Emma, seducing Charlie with my body, and in the end, I became the lover. Although codenames are used, everyone knows who they are talking about. It describes many details of the interactions with Charlie. It has something to do with Emma. Faced with these, my heart is calm. It turns out that letting go of someone is not that difficult. When you tear someone else's name from your heart, you will find your own poem hidden underneath. I'm very happy and I've found myself again. When I was concentrating on doing the exercises, there were always classmates who came to poke around. I'm fed up with these groundless rumors. I had to post a thread. Amy, I am in seclusion and I am in heaven. Please don't cue me. If you can solve the following question, you are worthy of talking to me about love. Then the additional questions for the competition were posted. There are a lot of people below who are giving 6 points and calling him a god of learning. Only Kevin replied with detailed steps and answer. And left a message, my deskmate, am I worthy of it? I replied, you did it, you are cheating. Kevin, give me another question, and do the math. Charlie also left a message below, Amy, see you at A. University. A is the university I once wanted to go to with him. But it doesn't matter anymore. I put down my phone and stopped replying. Charlie didn't come to see me again. But my favorite snacks, drinks and desserts started to appear on my desk. I distributed them all to the students around me. Charlie would borrow other people's phones to send me messages. Either ask about my relationship with Kevin, or explain that nothing happened between him and Emma. There was also a photo of the little bunny doll, indicating that he had taken it back. I blocked them one by one. Never replied. They all said that Charlie repented after I walked away. He worked hard to catch up with me, hoping to renew our relationship at University A as agreed. They say that men always realize how deeply they love someone only after they lose him. So does Charlie. But I don't want to care. After the college entrance examination, I started to deal with another matter. When Charlie knocked on my door with the admission letter from University A in high spirits. All that was left there was an empty house and a large wooden box at the door. Inside, there is everything about him. At the top is the puppy doll he made himself. The sticky note on the puppy's chest reads, "Goodbye, Charlie. Never see you again." I was admitted to B University and moved to B City with my family. When I heard that Charlie made a comeback and was admitted to University A, I smiled silently. Even though so many unpleasant things have happened, we have known each other for so many years. He can get back on track. I am sincerely happy for him and his parents. It's just that a university and B University. One is in the south and the other is in the north. From now on, we will go our separate ways and wish our lives to be happy. I spent the entire holiday traveling around the world. After school started, I learned from my former classmates. Charlie was looking for me like crazy. I didn't reveal any location information. I have already explained the situation to my parents. But after school started, I was still blocked by Charlie at school. Charlie didn't look well, his eyes were dark and his hair was messy. But even so, it attracted the attention of many girls around. His appearance has always been superior, and even when he looks haggard, he has a sense of desolation and brokenness. Otherwise, he wouldn't always be a campus celebrity. I asked in surprise. "Charlie, why are you here?" Charlie looked down at me. "You didn't say anything and just disappeared. Amy, you can't play tricks on me like this." We agreed to go to University together, and I was admitted. "Why are you not here?" I'm in a bit of a dilemma. "Charlie, I thought I had made myself clear." Charlie suddenly became excited. "Amy, you can't do this to me. Just because I made a mistake, I was sentenced to death. I have broken up with Emma and those brothers you don't like. I no longer fight, smoke or drink, and I was admitted to University A as agreed." I'm a little speechless. "Charlie, this is all for your own good. I didn't ask you to break up, I really don't care anymore." Charlie was immediately stung. "Yes, I know you were doing this for my own good, and it was me who was such a jerk back then. You want me to apologize, you want me to kneel down and beg you, you want me to do anything. Just don't ignore me. Amy, we have been together for so many years, can't you give me another chance? After you left, it seemed like nothing was right. Only then did I realize that I couldn't live without you." He took out the pair of rabbit and puppy dolls and handed them to me. "I was wrong before, but I have corrected my mistakes, and I will find ways to make it up to you in the future. Amy, don't leave me, okay?" I didn't answer, I just said softly. "But some damage is irreparable. Charlie, even if you apologize and pretend nothing happened, I still remember it. I remember that you were clearly thinking about someone else, but you still trampled on my sincerity, played with my body at will, laughed at me behind my back with your brothers, and dragged me into the toilet without explaining anything. Enough." The corners of Charlie's eyes turned red, and he sounded very aggrieved when he spoke again. "I know it's all my fault. I did something wrong. I just want a chance to make up for my mistake and pursue you again, is that not even possible?" I looked at my phone, feeling a little impatient. "Charlie, not all mistakes can be forgiven." Charlie had something else to say. Another male voice interrupted. "I've been looking for you for a long time, why are you still here?" Kevin walked up to me and held my hand. Smile politely at Charlie. "Sorry, classmate, Amy and I have an appointment later." Seeing him, Charlie's eyes suddenly became gloomy. "Amy? So, you took the B-School entrance exam just for him? You?" Kevin blocked me behind him and interrupted him nonchalantly. "Classmates, Amy and I were both admitted through recommendation, so we don't need to take the exam." Charlie still refused to believe it. "How is it possible that you like me so much?" When did you? I said calmly. The day you and your brother were chatting about what I was wearing. I applied for admission. When I was hospitalized because of you, he was there with me. When you were slandered, he believed me and explained for me. There are many more. Do you want to hear them all? Charlie's face turned grayer and grayer. He stammered and couldn't speak. I shook my hand and smiled at him. Charlie, I'm doing very well now. You should also look forward to it. When passing by. Kevin chuckled softly. You're not even my ex-husband's brother, so why bother yourself? I was amused by him, but also felt like crying. So the ex-husband is okay? Kevin took my hand and kissed it. That's even worse. I won't let you have that kind of dirty stuff anymore. Charlie stood there stiffly, hunched over, looking downcast and depressed. Later, Charlie came to see me many times. I turned a blind eye. Kevin clung to me even tighter. In winter, he would give me half of his scarf, cover my hands with his, blow on them gently, and open his coat to wrap me in his arms. But he cherishes me very much. Only with permission would she blush and kiss me on the cheek. We laughed and joked, and whispered to each other in an ambiguous way. Share intimate secrets between lovers. Charlie saw all of this. He was nearly mad with jealousy. Finally one day, I couldn't help but resort to violence. I called the police without mercy and let him be taken away by the police. He looked at me with deep pleading in his eyes. Until the last ray of light is extinguished in my calm and indifferent sight. Never appeared in front of me again. Later, I heard that he dropped out of University A and fell into depravity again. Smoking, drinking, fighting, clubbing, racing, caused a lot of trouble. Sure, the student council member looks promising. I heard Charlie will be able to take him down tonight. Ping lives a life that is neither human nor ghost. Charlie's parents were extremely disappointed in him. Charlie's family's financial situation also plummeted. Charlie is no longer the handsome and elegant school bully he once was. I am calm and composed. I silently deleted all messages about him and all our mutual friends. Completely erased the last trace of him from my life. Like fleeting water, a parting is like two lives.